welcome to a very special reaction episode of Generation BTS, the podcast. I'm Christine, I'm 28 and I've been on me for coming up to a year now. And with me I have, as usual, my co-host Leanne.
Hi, I'm Leanne, I'm 33 and I've been army for about 7 months.
Nice, and my other co-host Natasha.
Hi, I'm Natasha, I'm 18, going on 19 soon.
Yeah!
And I've been army for almost 6 years.
Nice. Welcome to our reaction episode. So we're recording this just as Proof has come out. It came out now about 4.5 hours ago.
Yes.
So we've been studying up, trying to get the streaming numbers up, and sort of looking into the lyrics as we normally do for our normal episodes. Now, when this comes out, I think we've probably only had one normal episode out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this one, I think we meant to have a couple episodes out before, but it just didn't work out with the dates. So we're doing the Proof reaction as our second episode. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. First of all, just as a disclaimer, we'd like to just state that we are not experts on BTS, K-pop, or anything music related.
Yeah, we're just fans of the boys, sharing our opinions.
And please be aware we do swear.
Perfect. Right, let's get into the material. So yeah, I mean, Yet to Come, like I said, it came out a couple hours ago. We got up early, about 5 a.m. here in the UK.
It was tough.
It was tough, but obviously worth it to get the first reactions. Did you guys have any initial thoughts on the music video, maybe first of all?
It's very reminiscent of good old times.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's a lot of throwbacks.
Yeah, I think it's a very sweet, soft song.
Yeah.
And obviously from the MV you get all the shots of the different eras and different areas. And obviously they look adorable in the desert, just really wandering around in Vegas, we assume. It's Vegas desert, but yes.
Yeah. Yeah, their costumes sort of fit in with the colour scheme of the surroundings, I think, which obviously you'd expect. And yeah, all the colours are pretty. It has sort of a little bit of a melancholy feel, I think. But yeah, it's pretty. We liked it, didn't we?
Yeah, no choreo.
No choreo, yeah. And we weren't sure. I think from the teaser we understood that the song maybe was a slower one. Sometimes they have choreo for the slower ones. But yeah, no choreo for the music video at least. It'll be interesting to see what they do in the music shows. So they're going to do it for music shows, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
that's true.
Yeah, maybe there's some sort of secret low-key choreo like in Spring Day.
Yeah, maybe there's choreo for the other two if they're not doing Yet to Come in the music shows.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll do all three. For today's episode, we're gonna talk about just the 3 new songs. So it's not gonna be as long of a one as we've done before. Right, should we just get right into it?
Yes.
Yeah. Perfect. So yeah, as we sort of touched on, the first song that we listened to, and the first new song on the album is Yet to Come. It was written by P-Dog, RM Sugar, J-Hope, Dan Glazer, and Max, and it was produced by P-Dog. So lyrics-wise, we obviously looked through these, some of us more intensely than others.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna just discuss and see what we think. So it starts off with Jungkook saying, "Was it honestly the best? Because I just want to see the next, diligently passing through." And then Jimin talks about all our yesterday, and V says, "Yeah, the best was honestly the best, but my best is what comes next." So yeah, I mean, obviously they're talking about the next chapter in their career, and they're sort of using this anthology album as an opportunity to look back.
Mm-hmm.
I think just before we go through the rest of the lyrics, it might be worth addressing the elephant in the room of
military service.
Military service, yeah. So obviously we know that we thought maybe it was looking like they might be exempt for a while. But then there was an election in Korea. The new president is much more conservative, and now it's looking like it probably won't happen. So with the rules being as they are, Jin probably will need to go to military service before the end of the year. So obviously that's really sad. I didn't want the whole episode to be super sad, but I think there's a lot of references in these songs to like, oh, looking back at the past and sort of towards the new chapter to come. And I think without sort of speculating too much in terms of what they might choose to do in terms of, what member goes to military service at which point in time, or, what they might do while someone's away or anything like that, because obviously that's stuff that we don't know. It is worth saying that sort of in terms of how the next chapter might be different, this is the obvious thing to be talking about, right? Because we know that this is more than likely gonna come, unfortunately. So yeah, I mean, I think between us we've talked a little bit about whether it would make sense for them to all go at the same time, because obviously they've built the band so much around the unit of the 7, or whether we would rather have them go one at a time, and sort of for the band to continue with 6 members, 5 members, and so on while someone's away, which I think is more. I think traditionally in K-pop, usually they go one at a time, right? And I don't think any bands have ever said, "Oh, we're all going to go and come back."
Yeah, I think obviously the preference would be for them all to go together. I think one of the things that you said is that maybe they'll stay as a 5 or a 6 and swap members out as and when, but there's also they pursue solo.
Yeah.
So obviously a lot of them have got their own solo mixtapes, they've got their own solo pursuits, V with acting, some of the boys with their mixtapes. J-Hope's just announced that he's going to do Lollapalooza by himself. So I think that might be an option as well, where you still get lots of content from the boys that are still around, but you don't necessarily see them as a
band,
as a 6 or even as a 7. Oh Jesus!
Oh my gosh!
Fine.
Yeah, live emotions here on the podcast. Yeah, no, obviously it. Yeah, I mean it's painful. This, I'm not gonna lie. It really.
Maybe we're just overly emotional because we had to get up at 5 a.m.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, right.
And you had your thing that you'd seen in the concept photos, Natasha, which indicated that they might go one at a time. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so when we were looking at lyrics, the photos that they use in the video, we saw that for each member, so the one where they have like a cross on the face.
Yeah, these are the concept photos for the new album, by the way, the ones with the bathroom tiles and the lasers that we're talking about. Yeah.
So every member had like a cross on him except Jin. So that were a bit like, ooh, why is that? And then also for the door concept photos, they all have like a straight line and Jin has like a diagonal line, which also could be like a thing that they're sending him off first.
Yeah, he's been singled out in both of those.
He's looking different.
Could mean nothing. But obviously we know it with BTS, it often means something.
Well, and we do know that Jin has to go.
Exactly.
So we're not like, oh my god, it's Jin. We've taken Jin. I think we've all just been a bit in denial about military service.
Definitely.
I feel like it will make the other albums that we do a review in the future a little bit more sad if that were the future outcome.
Yeah.
Because we'll just keep referring back to that, which could kind of put off as opinions on certain...
No.
Yeah, but we can celebrate their work and their achievements and their back catalogue, even if... I don't think it'll be like... I think it is very clear from the lyrics that they're saying, like, look, the next chapter might be different, and we don't... To be clear, we don't know how it's going to be different, right? The military service is a thing, but what they're going to do as a result of that, whether it's solos, whether it's... Because it's going to go on for a while, right? Like, Jungkook doesn't have to go for another 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And whether they're going to do 4 or 5 years of solo work, probably unlikely, right? So, like...
maybe Jin goes and then a couple of them go.
Yeah.
Or maybe Jin goes and then they all go.
Yeah. Maybe they change the law between when Jin goes and...
Maybe they win a Grammy and they add the Grammys to the list, because I think that's what they were originally talking about, right? If the Grammys were classed as potentially... accolade that was high enough regarded to be added, whereas something like a BBMA, a Billboard Award,
like
because it's fan voted, you can't. They wouldn't normally add that to the list in the way that they do with like a gold medal or a noted for a composer. So it needed to be something that was independently voted by a panel of experts, which is ultimately
Yeah, with the Grammys.
A Grammy.
Yeah.
So then that made us even more angry about the ruddy scammies.
Yeah.
And
scammies, man, honestly. We're bitter, we're obviously biased, but we're bitter. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think from these lyrics, it's clear that they're talking about the next chapter, and they're saying, look, while it might be different, we promise we'll still be here. We promise our best moments are yet to come. We promise that we're going to be together in the future. Whether that means continuing or whether it means that you will have the music in the future, I don't know. But obviously, yeah, I think it does sort of seem like they're saying, look, we know things are going to changing, but don't worry, we'll still be around. We'll still come back together. We'll still our best moments as a group and as a fandom and as a group of people who sort of have this experience of the art that we produce together. Our best moments are yet to come.
Okay.
And it's sort of, I said to my friend this morning, she asked me how I was feeling, and I said, well, I'm feeling a little nervous, and she said, oh, the same. And I said, it's kind of like they're saying, oh, don't worry, our best moments are yet to come. And I'm a bit like, well, I wasn't worried.
But now I am.
Now I am, yeah. So,
I wasn't worried, and now you've told me.
You just said, yeah. So yeah. So, I mean, not the brightest start to the episode ever, but it's important to address because, yeah, I think reading these lyrics is hard to get away from. So yeah, I think we need to continue with that in mind. All we can say for certain is military service is looming. Beyond that, we obviously don't know any more than any other armies out there. So yeah, back to the song.
Yes.
Should we start from the top on this song, maybe?
Yes.
So we're talking about Yet to Come. Written by P-Dog, RM, Sugar J-Hope, Dan Glazer, and Max, and produced by P-Dog. So JK starts it off. He says, was it honestly the best? Because I just want to see the next. Which is helpful. You know, something's coming next. Diligently passing through, and then Jimin says, all are yesterday, and V says, yeah, the best was honestly the best, but my best is what's coming next. And I think maybe you could, although again, we don't know. And that's why I think our other episodes maybe are a little easier, because we can say, oh, and they said this, they were probably pointing to this thing that came after that we now know about, right? Mm-hmm. But when he's saying, but my best is what comes next, I can say, maybe he's now talking about pursuing solo work. But obviously I don't know.
Could be anything.
Yeah, and we were talking, Natasha and I had a chat about whether my best is what comes next. And obviously he could be saying my best work is coming next, or, you know, the best parts of my personal life are coming next, or, yeah.
The best tour I've ever done in the whole world that lasts forever is coming. A whole 10-week residency in London.
And you can have tickets for all the days. Yeah.
And I will meet every AMA individually. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, it'd be the best moment. I agree. Yes.
I think that's what he's saying.
That would be the best. We're looking out for you, V. Just, stop by. Right. And then JK says the line that was in the teaser video that everyone debated what he's actually saying, but he's saying, you and I, best moment is yet to come. Yeah. So, yeah, I had to think about whether you and I, is the other members, is it army, is it, like, Natasha, you said something about how it might be persona that they are on stage.
Yeah, well, I thought maybe that it was the you would be like the past, so like the person they were when they started, and I is like a personal now, or like who they are stage wise, who they are behind the cameras.
Yeah. So take Garam as an example, obviously it's JK singing the line, but just because he has a stage name, it's easier to use him as an example. So he obviously has talked about the difference between Kim Namjoon and RM/Rap Monster a lot. So it'd
be the difference between Jungkook and Jungkook.
I'm
stage
sure
name.
He does have a stage presence.
Oh, of course he's got a stage presence.
Name. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they all do. I mean, there's different ways to read that lyric. Could be all of them, could be none of them. Yeah, and then after they do the you and I best moment is yet to come, V says, not sure since when, but they say we're the best. JK says, we just love music. We're just running forward. Promise that we'll keep on coming back for more. So that's good.
Aww.
You know, they promise they'll keep on coming back. That's what we want to hear. Yeah, and we talked about a little bit about how they're sort of focusing on music as well, because they were specifically recruited for the talent that they had in the music and the interest that they had in music. I think there was a more of a focus on, you know, getting people who had experience writing and producing music maybe than other idol groups.
Yeah, because they were going to be half hip-hop, half idol, right?
Exactly.
So they needed that authenticity and that musicality.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, obviously, you won't have heard this because it's not out yet, but we have reviewed some of the albums from the school era at this point. And they do talk a lot about, you know, the members being involved with the music themselves, so that was clearly like something that was important for them to get to the forefront. Yes, I think so.
Agreed.
So, yeah.
And they were talking about like other K-pop artists being manufactured, which most of the idols are just picked on looks rather than musical ability.
Yeah. So, and they talk about a little bit about, you know, like, oh, X-Hater is just a rapper, like you were put in a K-pop group and you call yourself a rapper because you couldn't sing, and yeah, they do reference stuff like that. So we actually were there for the music.
It does give them more staying power, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of them are around for the talent and the joy of the music and what the music brings for them.
And then Jin says, somewhere deep inside your heart, this is the pre-chorus. So he says, somewhere deep inside your heart, there still lives a young boy. And then JK says, my moment is yet to come. So again, it's his moment. Sugar says, do you have a dream? Which I think links back to No More Dream.
Aww.
Yeah, again.
What's your dream?
Yeah. You know, in their debut song, No More Dream, they'll say, you know, what's your dream? What's your dream? Tune in to find out more about that song. And then he says, what's at the end of that path? There's a hidden track on that Too Cool for School album called Path. So we thought that might be throwing back to that.
Lovely.
And then RM says, we're going to touch the sky for the day we die, which is
that's a Kanye.
Clear
yeah, it's Kanye West reference.
Yeah, it's
nice.
Kanye West and Lupe Fiasco, Touch the Sky. But it's a good song though.
It is a very good song.
It's a good song, yeah. And I think obviously, from doing the school era as well, we sort of noticed that at least in those early years, they did focus a lot on like, oh, we have this connection with US hip hop, and that's what we're going to link to all the time, and we're going to throw back to like all these US rap songs, and that does happen in those. They were definitely sort of referenced a lot of the sort of US rap scene in their early work. So yeah. And then RM says, this is only the beginning, the best is yet to come. So yes,
fine.
Beginning. Let's keep moving forward. And then Sugar talks about being uncomfortable with being called the best, and that he just loved music and nothing's changed.
Oh, youngie.
Yeah. I mean, he sort of talks about the uncomfortable label of the best, and yeah, maybe he feels like it isn't warranted, but also it's like a lot of pressure, right? Because when you put out new stuff, then you have to keep to a certain standard, and yeah, your fans are going to expect something. And yeah, you've talked about, there's an interview where he sort of talks about there's no one
who's done what they've done before that they can get advice from, right? So there's no K-pop band that broke America.
Yeah, exactly. When
they're very much out there on their own.
Yeah. So if they are feeling like, oh, this level of success is, you know, I don't know, I'm uncomfortable with XYZ aspect, then there's no one there for them to gain advice from. And
the other thing on that was, yeah, ultimately I didn't sign up for this, right?
Yeah.
Like, but not in a negative way, in a way that was like, when I joined a hip-hop idol group, the most I could have anticipated is being super successful in Asia. And now we've got all of this global fame.
Yeah, can't go anywhere.
What does that mean? Would we have, and what do I think as early me, would they have picked this because it was such an it was almost unattainable. It was
they never would have even dreamed of
Never even dreamed of it. Never even talked about it. Yeah,
exactly. he says in the interview as well, like, they're really grateful, really flattered and everything, but yeah, it's different.
It's a lot.
What they were working towards. Yeah. So RM talks about changes, but still being the same, and then he says, a new chapter. Every moment is my best. And then J-Hope says he's got a lot to learn and a lot to fulfill. We don't know whether that's professionally, personally, whether it relates to the military service, if he wants to, like, fulfill that in the name of his country. He might do.
Because we did talk about that. We talked about that separately a bit, didn't we? Which was they ultimately, some of them may not want to get out of military service.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
a really high level of respect, and it's a massive honour to be able to go, and there'll be backlash from Conservative fans and maybe potentially people within their family and their networks that are like,
I don't know,
you can't skip this.
Yeah,
I guess if the law had changed.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about it except that sports stars sometimes are exempt, but I've heard that even if you're exempt for medical reasons, it can be quite like
shameful.
Yeah. So I think when BTS have been asked about this, they or Big Hit have never sort of publicly advocated for being exempt. It's been mainly sort of other music agencies advocating for maybe it changing to the rules. And whenever they've been asked, they've always said, if and when we're called upon, we'll be happy to serve, and we're gonna go, basically. So yeah. Then he goes into this bit where they talk about not being about it. So he says, we ain't about it, the world's expectations, we ain't about it, that's being the best. And then he says, we ain't about it again. And then Sugar comes in and says, crowns and flowers, countless trophies. And RM says, dream and hope and going forward. We so about it. It's a back to square one after making one long run back to one. Yeah.
Are you sure that that's the right translation?
No.
Can we get every translation on these lyrics to make them happier?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, maybe that is a good note to make, that these lyrics, obviously, someone's translated them literally in the last couple hours, and we had a look at a couple of translations, and they were a little bit different, although, like, the words were the same. I think maybe there were some similar words, but the context wasn't necessarily the same in two separate translations. So, yeah, we are definitely working with translations here, and we don't have a way of judging the quality, unfortunately, because none of us speak Korean yet.
Christine's working really hard.
Maybe it's like, obviously, like in English we'd say raining cats and dogs, something that only we understand as a native speaker, like
an idiom.
So to them it might have a strong meaning, but we've yet to have someone explain that to us.
Exactly. And we work with, like, Genius lyrics a lot, and sometimes they have annotations. These lyrics have no annotations because they've just been put up, so we're going in a little bit more blind than we normally would.
Yes.
But yeah, anyway, after they're talking about not being about it, I guess they're saying sort of, we don't want to be weighed down by expectations, we don't want to be weighed down by, the pressure of being the best, of sort of chasing trophies, etc. Although I must say, Sugar saying not being about trophies is ironic, because he loves trophies.
Yeah, and you've got the big house, the big car, the big rings now, Shugs, and now you don't want them.
But, like, yeah, I mean, he's talked about sort of not big cars, big house not being sort of the crux of his dreams anymore. He's talked about that before, but he does love a trophy. So yeah, we know that. And then they do the chorus again. Jimin restates, the past was the best, but my best is what comes next, and we'll be singing till the morn. Aww. So, yeah, again, that feels reassuring. They're going to keep singing.
That's good.
And then V says, heading towards the day, more like ourselves. So,
V's got big plans.
Yeah. He wasn't involved with writing this.
They just gave me all of the dramatic lines.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to find himself. He's going to
find his soul.
Yeah. And then they say, you and I, the best moment is yet to come again.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what that song is.
I enjoyed the song more when I didn't know the lyrics.
Yeah.
Which is very, very rare for a BTS song. I always love the songs, and then once I've read the lyrics and I've understood the lyrics, I like it even more.
Yeah.
In this instance, I would have preferred to have not known.
I mean, yeah, it's a nice song. The lyrics, I'm not saying that the lyrics are bad in any way, it's just that they're a little upsetting.
Yeah, no, they're brilliant lyrics.
Potentially.
Just if we're going to read into them, there is...
Yeah. There's scope for some...
separate paths.
Yeah. Potentially. Although, again, I must say we don't know anything.
We literally don't know anything.
Yeah.
We're just...
So yeah, should we talk about the music video a little bit? That might help us feel better.
That will, yeah. Let's do that.
So, I don't have time to go through it sort of frame by frame, and there are other podcasts that'll do that.
Yeah, one of our favourites.
Yeah.
Shout out to We Review BTS.
Yeah. I think just in terms of what has been picked up by sort of armies online and things that we've noticed, there are a lot of throwbacks in this one. Obviously, like we said at the top, they look beautiful.
Very handsome.
Yeah, and, some, like, very soft. Jimin's got his little Spring Day outfit on.
He does.
And he was very fluffy in Spring Day. He's quite fluffy here.
Jinny's got the double denim.
Yeah. It opens on JK doing the thing where he sort of makes a circle of his fingers and sort of moves
a telescope.
Moves it towards his eye. And that is a throwback to the Most Beautiful Moment in Life prologue, which came out back in 2015 and was sort of the start of the Universe story, or at the start of the Universe story. I think I Need You had been out before that.
Okay. We saw online that when he does the thing in the previous one, he's looking out to the sea, and in this one he's looking out to the desert.
Yeah, and we know from the reviews that we've done so far that they really just love the sea and the desert.
Oh, yeah. We were going to insert a sea jingle.
Yeah. Yeah, a sea and desert, it comes up literally all the time in their lyrics. So if you haven't noticed that yet, you will notice it now. And then you sort of get from the switch to sort of what he's looking at through this sort of hand telescope, you get switched to a chair arrangement where they're sitting in sort of all white outfits and they're in the same pose as they were in the Just One Day music video.
Oh,
which is sweet. That's one of my faves.
I bet there's not a single frame or outfit or prop that you can't connect to something in the anthology. That's how well done it is.
Yeah. Another thing is Jin's pickup truck. So they're sort of driving through this desert in this big pickup truck that, if you know the Universe story, Jin's pickup truck is there all the time. And it's in the Love Yourself highlight reel, which we talked about in the last episode. It's there in the prologue. Jin's pickup truck is very recognizable. And there is a frame of Jungkook standing in front of the sort of rusted carousel from Spring Day. There's the Fallen Angel statue sort of poking out of the sand, which is from Blood, Sweat and Tears, but also sort of reminiscent of the sort of hands that stick out of the ground sometimes in BTS music videos. Namjoon is sort of rapping and sort of standing in front of a big blue container box, which has the same numbering as the ones that we've seen before.
I feel like they just went out and got all of the previous props.
Yeah.
I wonder if I said this in have they got like a massive warehouse where they're going to open the BTS museum just full of props, or have they remade them?
Yeah.
They've remade them. But they could keep them and then put these in the BTS museum.
Yeah, exactly. And then we can go
and see them.
And, feel better.
Feel better whilst crying.
Yeah. There is the train from the Spring Day music video. It's not running like in the Spring Day music video, but it's sort of, broken down and rusted. It's behind Hobie when he does his rap. They sort of then pose on the back of the pickup truck, and it's the same pose as one of the Polaroid pictures that Jin has in the Universe story.
Cute. They do a really good, point to the sky and they all look happy.
Yeah.
Which is cute.
That is cute.
I enjoy that.
Yeah. And then there's a bit where Jin covers Tae's eyes with his hands, which is the exact same as from the Blood, Sweat and Tears music video, where sort of Jin sort of looks back and looks a bit confused, and then Tae comes up behind him and puts his hands over his eyes. And then there's a section where Tae sort of puts his hands forward and sort of creates like a photo frame, like Jin does in Spring Day. I think Army Online have speculated about whether this is sort of Jin handing because Jin obviously is sort of the main character of the Universe story, and whether this is sort of him handing that baton, if you will, over to Tae, who's one of the observers of the Universe story. If you're paying close attention to the Universe, you might know that there's a theory that Tae's one of the only ones that
has the memories
of Jin going back in time, and he's sort of aware of that side of what's happening from quite an early stage. So there's speculation as to whether this is, you know, him giving the sort of role of the protagonist of the universe story over to someone who's gonna be there ultimately.
Well, and I've now been to universe school. In later episodes I won't have, but I have. But also, within it, Jin is starting to feel a lot of pain, isn't he? He's struggling. Yeah. He's really pained, and they were looking to... It'd be better to have someone within that universe story take it over without the...
Yeah, exactly. So
military element. It's a natural progression of where the story has been going for the last couple of years.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because he's, you know, struggling with the ramifications of going back in time, and he loses his memories, and he has all these headaches and stuff like that. So yeah, that is a good point as well. Jimin does some sort of hand movements and gestures that have been taken literally straight out of Spring Day. He does the exact same moves. So again, throwbacks. And then we've got the school bus from No More Dream right at the end, and then they sort of go into the school bus, and they're sitting in the same formation as they do on the train in Spring Day.
Beautiful.
So yeah, it's good. All the clothes and the outfits as well are sort of throwbacks to old content. I think there are several eras that you can throw some of the pieces back to, like RM's double denim look, for example. I've seen a few photos online of those sort of eras that could be related to, so I don't think we're going to go through each look and say, oh, this is this era, this is that era, but yeah, the clothes definitely have been picked as throwbacks as well.
Just the one thing I was thinking then, well, like, I wonder why it's not the exact same outfit.
Yeah.
It's a replica.
Yeah, well, they did a similar thing for...
Well, it's not even a replica, is it? It's a nod to same style. None of them are wearing the exact same. They have grown, I guess.
Yeah.
But for still have the outfits.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I mean for the...
In that big warehouse that we're going to go visit at the BTS museum.
Rob.
Yeah.
Rob. I'm leaving with Aaron's double denim outfit.
For the festive photo shoots that have just come out as well, they do a similar type of throwback thing where they're throwing back to sort of big moments in the career, like first time they won a music show, first time they went to the Grammys, first time they won a Daesang, that kind of thing. And for those as well, it's not the exact outfit, but it's a very sort of closer copy probably than what we see in the music video. So yeah, it's something that they're doing at the moment, but it sort of suggested to me at least that they probably haven't actually kept hold of all these clothes that they've worn through the years, because they could have just put them in those clothes. Or maybe they've, you know, got different clothing supplier contracts and have to make something similar but not the same. So yeah, we're happy with Yet to Come and the music video.
I'm happy with it. It's lovely.
Yes. So now the next song that is new on the album is Run BTS. It was written by RM, J-Hope, Jungkook, Suga, and several others. Loads of names on this one. And then it was produced by someone called Dem Joints for You Made Us What We Are LLC and Ghost Loop. And I think Ghost Loop was also involved with the lyrics, actually. So JK opens this one. He talks about Nonyeon, which is a part of Seoul where they used to have their old apartment. And he says, our spot calling the company after school, I'll go right away, please don't send me home. So he's like talking about how he was happy to, you know, be at that old apartment, even though they all, you know, slept in the same room and it wasn't the most glamorous, let's say. V says he dreams about those days sometimes, and Jimin talks about them sort of having come from or started from the bottom, if you want to put it that way.
Now we're here.
Now we're here, exactly. Jungkook says we're 7 mates.
Aww.
So that's sweet. And then V comes in with the if we live fast, let us die young, which is another sort of shaded rap reference, maybe. Mm. So this one obviously is much more a hip hop track. I didn't say that at the top, but this one not so slow. It's an upbeat one. And then JK makes a reference to the soul, which you won't know yet, but there's a future episode where we talk about the soul a lot, so I was excited by that.
Nice. What's JK's soul reference?
He says, I'm going to take everyone's soul out of it.
Oh.
Yeah. And then Jimin says, 2 bare feet are our gasoline, So I guess he's talking about the title being Run BTS, right? So you're sort of using your feet as the engine and the thing that sort of spurs you forward. And then Hobie comes in with Run Bulletproof, Run, yeah, you gotta run, and that's sort of the hook of the chorus. And then we get into the next verse where Suga talks about, well, we think the translations sort of were a bit debatable on this, but he seems to be talking about their old studio being sort of leaking with rain. And then he talks about opening a bottle of soju and talking about his hardship. So he's obviously referring to the creative process of songwriting, I'd say here.
Yep.
Yeah. He sort of goes on to talk about, it's kind of like he's given an answer to an interview question of like, what do you think has made BTS successful? And he says he doesn't know whether there's a reason behind their success. And he says, all of us just run hard, no matter what, we just run. That's the answer. Ha ha ha. So yeah, I mean, I think they've probably had that interview question like a million times, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, why do you think you're so much more successful than like other K-pop bands? And yeah, he's saying, yeah, we don't know really.
I don't know.
Yeah, but they
try hard. They work really hard.
Yeah, but that's not to say that, you know, other K-pop bands don't work hard.
No.
Yeah.
And it's the novelty of it as well, isn't it? They were a brand new concept. The credit should go to that.
Yeah, that's fair, I think. And then RM comes in and he talks about having comfort. So he says, comfort, got him. Principles, got him. Good music, got him. Good team, goddamn. So yeah, he's got a goddamn good team.
He's happy.
Yeah, he's happy with all those parts of it. There's a bit of a hater shout out. So again, if you listen to our upcoming school era podcasts, you'll know that they really love a hater song in that era. He says, you said you're hot, oh man you're not, above the ones who run, above the ones who fly, run Bangtan, let's go. So yeah, that seems to be a sort of throwback to earlier anti-hater content, I think. And then the bridge, they talk about running some more, and they say, just run with our two legs. That's how we've proved to all. We're 7 runners with $1 million.
Nice.
Yeah,
jeez.
good for them.
Oh, and then they say their names.
Yeah. And I think this is Hobie's part.
Namjoon.
Yeah. And this is Hobie's part. So he goes, Jiminy, the hard... Well, one translation said hard work, and one translation said, like, did a good job.
Yeah, hard workers.
Hard workers.
Yeah.
So it's like praising them for their hard work. And then he says, Namjoon, hope, hard work / good job. Yoongi Young, Jin, hard work. And Jungkook, everyone, thanks. Or like, thanks to everyone, I guess.
Nice.
I don't know. And then
it's a really sweet verse from Hobie.
Yeah. And then they go back to the chorus, which is the bit where they sort of go on about being bulletproof and run bulletproof, run, yeah, you gotta run. And 2 bare feet are our gasoline and everything like that. So yeah, it's more of an upbeat song. I think it's one that's less obviously melancholic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is.
Yeah.
It's happier.
It is happier. It's still a throwback. It's still looking back at their past. Maybe more so than Yet to Come, really. So this one, Yet to Come, I think maybe is sort of talking about what we can expect going forwards in sort of very open-ended terms. And this one is more talking about, oh yeah, you know, that time when we started out in that apartment in Nonhyun, and yeah.
It's more detailed, reminiscent, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. Anything else we want to say about Run BTS?
What are your thoughts on it, Tash?
I like the lyrics of it, but I don't think the song, the like sound of it is just my vibe.
Yeah. A bit hip hop here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will listen to it.
Yeah.
More
it's hard. Yeah.
Than the couple of times that we've listened to it before we sat down.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard with brand new songs, I think, to sort of know straight away how they fit within the sort of pantheon of songs that they have. Because, you know, you have your favorites from the overall discography, and you don't know sort of right away where these fit in within that. I quite like the sort of rap heavy songs, but yeah.
And it lends to maybe some choreo, maybe some performances with some choreo, because it's a bit more upbeat, so maybe we'll get that as they come into the music shows and do the rest of the promotion.
Yeah, exactly.
And then do their world tour.
Yeah, maybe sort of down the line, once we've had a bit more time to process, we can do a longer sort of deep dive into Proof.
Yes.
Like a normal episode.
Yeah, because we did listen to Proof end to end. We did do that, but obviously a lot of the songs we already knew. We can talk about it just at the end, but we really liked the demo CD, didn't we?
Yeah, CD3.
CD3, it was brilliant, golden.
Yeah, and the other songs obviously we won't talk about because they're going to come up on other albums. So, yeah. It's a massive album though, so I think if we're going to do an episode on it, we might need to split it up. But yeah, a lot of the songs we might have already covered. Right, so should we wrap up with For Youth?
Let's do For Youth.
Right, For Youth was written by RM Sugar, J-Hope, His Noise, Slow Rabbit, Hitman Bang, and again several other people. And it was produced by someone called Roger Shahayed and Imad Royale, who I also think had a hand in the lyrics. But yeah, they were alone in the producing. It starts off with this recording
sample
of Young Forever. We think it might be from
Wembley.
the Wembley performance,
yeah.
Where, if anyone doesn't know, it was a fan project that UK Army did, where they, when BTS sort of came on to do the encore, they sort of surprised them by playing the Young Forever music.
Backing
track, and then, all the armies in the entire 90,000 capacity Wembley sang that song back to them, in Korean.
In Korean.
They were very, very moved.
Lots of crying.
A lot of crying, yeah. And obviously they would have performed Young Forever to other audiences before, and they would have sung the song back to them, so we can't be sure that it's Wembley, but that was such a significant moment. And maybe we're like UK biased.
Maybe we're biased, yeah.
But it felt very significant. So yeah, we're thinking it might be from that. So Jungkook starts with this one as well. I think he might have started off all three. But he says, "If I never met you, what would I look like?" I mean, I think he means what would his life look like. But yeah, we sort of get the gist. Jin says, "Every time I miss you, words that have become a habit. It's so true."
Mm.
So this one I think is very much an ARMY song.
Yeah, this is for us.
This is for us. Lee talks more about the Nonhyung Dong, which is the full name of the district in Seoul where they had their first apartment. He says he woke up 10 years ago. I cried so easily when you laughed so easily. I don't know who he's talking about in terms of you.
Us.
Do you think? As in,
yeah.
Why would we laugh when he cries?
No, when we are happy, he is moved.
Oh, yeah.
By making us happy. Is
yeah.
What I read. That's my reading.
Right, yeah, we did not think of that.
We had a thought that maybe it's like referring back to like when you were a trainee, so like obviously probably cried a lot because obviously the hard work and like uncertainty of actually debuting, but obviously he laughed a lot because it were younger, it was like a simpler time, and
he
stuff
was
like
that. A goofball as well. And he's talked about that, hasn't he? He's talked about like, Jimin sat with him when he cried, and Jungkook sat with him, and
it could be the haters. I cried so easily when you laughed, when they were mocked and rude and that sort of stuff. It could be that.
Could be that. Different readings of this one.
Mm.
But yeah, I think maybe you are right, Leanne, because we said it was an ARMY song. But Jimin comes in next and he says, "You were always here with us together, and every second was forever." I mean, that's about
us.
ARMY.
Yeah, that's us. We were there. We were
exactly.
Not we,
but us as a group of people.
We are
there.
rapidly trying to get back there.
Yeah. If anyone invents time travel, please let us know. RM talks about how he didn't wake up. I found it a little hard to make sense of this next bit, but he says, "I didn't want to wake up. Now you are here. This is a new home to me. I'll be back anytime. Baby, don't you worry. This road we walk, everything will be away." Thoughts?
I think it's just about how because it starts with the mind's unmeasurable, right? Mind's unmeasurable, my life was slipping when your head hits the pillow. So I think it's more about, again, this is not necessarily the life I imagined, or I didn't expect this much love and support from ARMY, but now that I've got it, this is the only way I know sort of how to be and how to live, and that's something that I want to go on forever. Yeah, it's now that you are here, this is a new home to me. It's a bit like we saw on the arc of RM lately. So you remember obviously as a big RM bias, we've seen some of the clips of when he was in interviews and he said, oh, what do you want to be after BTS? And he said, I want to be a dad. And Sugar says, you can. And then he got asked about it recently in one of the V Lives and was like, oh, well, now I don't really see myself with children. Yeah. I don't see how that fits into my life. Yeah. He also, though, the little liar, said about the tattoo. He said, oh, are you going to get a tattoo? And he said, no, I used to really want them, but now I've changed my mind. And I don't know if I'll like them. And then we got an Instagram clip of RM's 7 tattoo.
Yeah. Leanne tattoo.
So, Junie posted on his Instagram showing that the boys may have got their friendship tattoo. It's not confirmed yet. We've only seen one on Junie. And whether it's permanent or temporary, we also don't know. But it's on everything's on his ankle. Yeah. And it's a little 7, just like a little 7. So what I did with the screenshot of the tattoo is took a screenshot of his Instagram and then I flipped the picture around to turn the 7 into an L and then I inserted the rest of my name, which is Leanne. So now it looks like in my head Junie's got a Leanne tattoo. Yeah. The girls thought that was obviously hilarious. Yeah. So anyone with an L name, that's possible. You can do that. You can do that. I would recommend any Junie biases, or even if you're not an RM bias, maybe when they all come out, anyone with an L name will be absolutely privileged to be able to convert these tattoos into versions of their own name tattoo.
Yeah, I'm not jealous.
Silly.
Right, it is silly. Silly. Right. Okay, well...
So I think it's about that. I think it's about like and I do think RM sort of, not any more than any of the other boys, but he does take his role really seriously, right? And I can see how he's grown and changed some of his goals and priorities
for sure.
around that, and he feels a lot of, and I guess that comes with being the leadership and also the translator, he feels a lot of that responsibility about presenting the band forward, right? Keeping the band forward, making sure that they're not getting off track or they're being represented well and they're being received well, and that's how I'm reading into that this role is now my home.
Yeah, exactly.
The role that I want and the role that I'll stay in. That's my reading. What was your... You said you weren't sure. What did you think?
We both thought really sure.
Oh, right, well.
No.
There's only me that's got the one line into Junie.
That's why we left it for you.
That's why you left. Thank you.
Well,
that's my reading. I am the oldest. I can't be rocking the 5 a.m. wake ups. Anyone else that has a reading, do reach out and let us know if you've got a different reading. Yeah. Do you feel like that fits?
I think it fits, yeah. I mean, I think I sort of thought about it also being another one of those sort of reassuring messages, right? When he says, I'll be back, don't worry, so even if this is the new chapter, he's saying, I'll come back, we'll come back, like,
I'll be here.
Yeah.
I'll be back anytime.
It's not like we're losing this ARMY Bangtan relationship. That doesn't mean that necessarily anything around the sort of support and the love that we have for each other
is not going
to go anywhere,
and it's back to he's just sending that assurance. You're right, it's a very assuring message, thankfully.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it helps.
Julie saving the day.
It helps us feel better, definitely. And then JK says, you're my best friend for the rest of my life. So we can all be best friends. Wouldn't that be lovely? And we can all go live in the Namjoon country, and it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be good.
We all go camping with JK.
Yeah. And then Hobie's verse comes in, and he starts up with Hana Dul Set.
That's it.
Hana Dulset, which I recently learned in my Korean class that we've been pronouncing wrong forever. So I'm happy we didn't give it a go earlier on the podcast. But yeah, he says, Hana Dulset, which obviously means 1, 2, 3. Our son can't forget every moment. Oh, my spring day, I was like myself thanks to the flower that took responsibility. So yeah, there's a throwback to spring day. It's a throwback to the Hana Dulset greeting that they often do when they introduce themselves. The blooming flower, we thought a lot of this, they're throwing back to the sort of most beautiful moment in life, in forever era, right? And then we just watched this explainer where they said that the first part of that Chinese idiom, which we'll come back to when we do albums from that era, but it's Hua Yong Yon Hua, and it means the most beautiful moment in life. But if you split it up, the first bit actually refers to a flower. So we thought maybe it was a reference to that.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. Obviously, he also talks about spring, flowers bloom in the spring. Yeah, you came up with that one, Natasha.
Credit to me.
Credit to you.
Yeah, exactly. I think also you could see the blooming flower that took responsibility. I mean, I think he might be talking about Army because the next thing he said is, your countless words that have comforted me.
We have.
Yeah. I think the thing that it made me think about is when, there were the aunties that tried to sort of say, oh, I hope you should leave the band, blah, 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 whatever, obviously stupid, but then Army trended, I hope you're perfect. And obviously they'll get interaction with people on Weverse all the time, and on other platforms as well, and in concerts, etc. So yeah, it's good to know that that's been helpful and meaningful.
Bobby loves us.
Exactly. And then he says, yes, you're my youth, again my youth, my grateful friends, my pride, heaven and love. Which,
beautiful.
Lovely. Sugar comes in with, it was dark everywhere.
It's a very young line.
Yeah. In the meantime, a ray of light, I'm really glad it's you. We shine because we're together. So,
sweet.
Yeah, he appreciates the relationship as well. I think that's sort of what they're trying to get out of all these little rap verses.
Yeah.
There's the last verse sort of switches between Hobie Vijin and Jimin, I think. And it talks about falling down and getting back up, doesn't it?
Would you give me your hand? How many times will it happen?
Yeah.
100. Every time.
Yeah.
Every time we're there for them.
They're first talking about, falling down, getting back up by myself, and then he says that, would you give me your hand? How many times will it happen? And how many times can you, pick me up when I'm down, basically?
Every time.
Yeah. It's the same as when J-Hope said that we comfort him.
If you're tired, you can rest a while. I'm always here waiting for you.
Yeah.
They will help us up as well.
Yeah,
That's very Magic Shop reminiscent, isn't it?
Yeah.
They come here when you're down.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be here waiting for you, yeah. And then we have the chorus again in the outro, where they say, when everything was easy at that time, I should have told you more. I'll be with you for the rest of my life. Oh, the rest of my life. So, yeah, again, that's reassuring. Thank you to Taeyong for ending this one.
Pretending on we'll always be together.
Yeah.
So I think For Youth is a very assuring song about them wanting to stay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was uplifting. Obviously, I think most BTS albums will have an army song. We've had a few over the years. So I'm glad this one also had one, because I think it would have been, especially when they announced the comeback, it wasn't immediately obvious that it was going to be an anthology. So I think I was expecting a brand new CD of new songs, and I think...
New era.
Yeah, a new era, exactly. Or maybe a continuation of Map of the Soul, and I think I was expecting it to go down that route. So, to be perfectly honest, when they said, oh, it's an anthology, best of album, then I was a little like, right, well, it's not going to be a traditional comeback with, 7 to 12 new songs. That sort of was what I had expected. So I'm happy that the new songs are there. I'm happy that For Youth is one of them, because I think it's reassuring and uplifting. And it's a beautiful song. It's a nice one. I think I'll listen to it. It's hard to know straight away. I can't remember if we said it, but it's hard to know straight away how you'll relate to a song in comparison to the ones that you've had for a while. But yeah, no, I think it's a nice song. I think it's, again, an uplifting message, nice melody. Yeah, I like it. Right, we can talk about disc 3. We were gonna talk about, there's 2 songs on disc 3 that I don't think we've had on an album before. So there's Young Love and Quotation Mark. Now, just because of time constraints, it's our first episode that we're recording all together, and there's been time constraints, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, we didn't really have time to look into Young Love and Quotation Mark, and I think also I felt that with the direction that the first 3 songs went in, Young Love and Quotation Marks are, without having looked at the lyrics, just from the writing credits on it, are just like P-Dog RM. So they seem like older songs.
So they're old songs that they've then put out.
Exactly, yeah. So they won't be on the same theme.
There'll be no new messages to read through. We'll find out.
Yeah, well, they'll probably have messages, but like they might not be on this theme. So it would have been really weird to do 3 songs about like, oh, it's yet to come, and we're worried about military service and blah blah blah, and then there's a song about young love. Yeah. So
fair.
Yeah, I thought maybe we don't do that, but maybe if we do end up doing a separate sort of proof end-to-end episode, we can look into both Young Love, Quotation Mark, and also all the like different versions, right? Because there's a lot of really nice demo versions on this disc 3.
Yeah, there is. We really liked those.
Yeah,
they were all really quite refreshing.
Yeah,
and I think
so different. Like sometimes the music is the same, but like the song is like completely different. Yeah.
Maybe that's what we do. Maybe we'll do an episode on disc 3.
Disc 3, yeah.
We'll do a set episode on disc 3 with the like song by song reactions and what the differences are and what the similarities.
Yeah, exactly. And that might be good to do after we've done all the albums, so we can compare and contrast.
Well, we could put it on the wheel. We could do it at any time.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't want to do the disc 3 songs before I've done the OG songs.
OG songs, fair.
Yeah, because that's just going to be total work. But that is a chat for our next production meeting. But yeah, no, disc 3 is really good. It's a shame it's not on Spotify, because it just makes it a little harder to listen to it a lot. But it's
worth getting if you're teetering on getting the physical album. It's definitely worth getting the physical album for disc 3.
Yeah, definitely.
We would recommend.
Yeah, and
love it. Can't wait to get the CD.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've seen that there's been progress already on getting all the songs on the charts, which is good.
Yeah, we're going to be doing that all day.
Yeah.
Streaming all day.
Doing our part, exactly. So yeah, I mean, let's see where we go from here. I don't think anything's written in stone, especially in terms of, what we know. The military service thing is looking like it's happening, but again, a couple months ago, it was looking maybe like it wouldn't happen, so you never know. But I think from these, the lyrics and the music that we've had, it's clear that maybe a new direction is coming. And what that will be, we'll see.
But if that happens, we'll still have them, right? They still want to produce music and they still want to be in our lives.
Yeah. But yeah, we shall see. So yeah, I hope this hasn't bumped anyone out too much.
I mean, overall thoughts, it's been emotional, right?
It has, yeah.
It's been emotional, so I think, similar to Christine, I had expectations around not a new concept per se, but a big tar, maybe something. I knew Yet to Come was going to be softer, but I thought that one of the others may be a bit more PTD, dynamite, happy, bright, poppy.
Exactly.
And they weren't that, but they were still really beautiful songs, and then I went through the emotional roller coaster of the Yet to Come lyrics. But then that assurance does come later. So after an hour of recording, 4 hours of listening to the content, I'm feeling a bit better, feeling more hopeful.
Yeah. So
maybe it's just because ours is a lyrics podcast, right? Exactly. So we have to read the lyrics and we have to go into the detail of them, and we have to find a meaning. We don't have to find a meaning. Some of them don't have much meaning. But
these ones definitely do have
These ones have meaning, yeah.
So yeah, it's difficult to get past. I think that they're signaling
something new,
a close of a chapter. I think that's maybe what we'll need to just leave it at that, because we don't know more. But.
And we'll still get to see some performances. They're doing the music shows.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get a tour announcement. Maybe we'll get some tour before the end of the year.
Yeah, that would be good. If we're right that Jin is going, then it might make sense for them to tour before that happens.
Do
and
the
maybe
world
that's
tour.
Maybe that's why they put out an anthology album now instead of starting a new concept and a new story, because, you know, if he's not going to be there to finish that story, then maybe that doesn't make sense. And maybe they thought, okay, well, let's put out the anthology, let's tour the best of, kind of like they did in PTD, but like with a new, like maybe more elaborate staging, that sort of thing. And then, you know, we can move on from there in whatever shape or form. Like, if it is the thing that where they're handing the universe story to continue with, obviously that signals that they'll continue as a group. If it is the thing that they're going to focus on their own stuff for a little while, then fine. But yeah, we'll just have to see.
Fine.
We shall see. Anyway, yeah, like I said, I hope we haven't bummed anyone out too much. I thought it had to be said, especially about the military service thing. You know, it's hard to skirt around that when these lyrics are what they are. And yeah. Right. Thanks so much for listening. We really hope you'll come back and enjoy some happier times where we review albums that aren't necessarily so
sad.
Maybe. Well, potentially sad in subject matter. And thanks for listening. I think that's what we'll end on, and let's, you know, keep our fingers crossed for the future. If you want to give us your theories, if you want to tell us off for having made you sad, if you completely disagree and you're like, this is just them looking back on their catalog, it's fine, then let us know on our socials. We are Generation BTS _ on Instagram, or you can email us on generationbts@gmail.com. Leanne, do you want to come up with a hopeful note to round us up on?
I think that the hopeful lyric is, you know, this is only the beginning, the best is yet to come.
Yeah, I think that's the one that we need to cling on to at this moment in time. So yeah, again, thank you so much for listening. I've been Christine.
I've been Leanne.
I've been Natasha, and we have been
Generation BTS.